Welcome back to another video with That's Awkward ASMR. My name is Tatiana, and today we're going to check out a really cool game that's kind of taking the farming sim we love to another level with a lot of cool mechanics. This game is currently on Kickstarter. It looks really cool. Definitely check it out. It is obviously in an early state when we look at it, so keep that in mind, but it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of cool stuff, and it's also the sponsor of today's video. So if you want to check out this game and support it with the link down below, it is a special link, so if you click on it and you do back this game, I will get a small percentage of what you pay towards the game. So not only are you going to be supporting a really awesome, cool game on Kickstarter, you will also be supporting this channel, and you can support however much you want. You know, it can be as low as you want or as high as you want. It is totally up to you. They actually reached out to me. I hadn't heard of this game before, but it looks really cool, so we're going to kind of go over the Kickstarter. We're going to talk about it today, and yeah, we're going to check out the God's Fabled Soil Frontier. Looks really cool. And yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. Okay, so here we go. Let's check out the God's Fabled Soil Frontier on Kickstarter. So this is the main page. As of my recording this, they have 21 days. I think by the time you see this, it'll be 19 days to go. And they already have a lot of backers. They're doing really good with their goals. So if you think this is interesting, be sure to check it out and support this game. It's going to help them out a lot. And it looks really cool. I'm going to back this. I just haven't done it yet, but I am going to back this probably as soon as I'm done this video. So let's go ahead. Sow life back into the land in an open world fantasy farming experience like no other in the God's Fabled Soil Frontier. So the trailer here, I'm going to mute it so it's not like too loud, but they have a lot of it looks really expansive so far. Obviously, the game is not complete yet. I think if you back it, you'll get to play it in early access and alpha and things like that, which is really cool. But it does take a different approach to how your farming and things work. We're going to look into that. But this is what it looks like so far. Very cute. I think the plant life and the animals look really adorable. It looks just so cozy and so nice. The chickens are super cute. So that's a little of the trailer. You can check out the full trailer on the page. It looks adorable. Lots of cool animals. Let's check out more about the story though of the game. Let's get into the potatoes of the meal. So they have their stretch goals here, which is awesome. A bit about the developer. They said, "Hi, I'm a solo game developer," so it's a single developer game who wants to create unforgettable games for all to enjoy. I want to explore cool, rare gameplay mechanics that I can approach in new ways never before seen to develop incredible experiences. So that's a really cool goal from the dev to want to bring that, and I feel like this game will bring that to the table. They have, if they reach a bunch of these goals, they have some stretch goals where they'll bring in things like it'll bring it to console, it'll expand a new world you can go check out, larger town, more NPCs, animals, whole bunch of really cool things that they're going to bring, even multiplayer, which is, you know, we love multiplayer over here. Super cool things. So I hope they get to reach some of these goals, because these are really cool stretch goals to have. It will be in alpha access. Right now it's a PC only version of the game, because it's really hard. I like to probably develop for a ton of consoles at first. So it will be on a PC. And I think the alpha tier and above will be available in early 2023 is what they're kind of aiming for, which is actually a year before the release. So probably early 2024 is when they're kind of aiming for this game to be released, which is cool to know. So let's jump into about the game here. Listen, if I have problems reading this, I've been having a hard time with my health and stuff. I'm very tired, and like I'm also having some brain fog, and sometimes reading's even more difficult than normal. So just please bear in mind if I miss some words, I apologize. But it says, answering a call for help, you'll venture to the long abandoned Paleeto town, where neglected farmlands, empty streets, rundown buildings, vast open landscapes, and great deal of mystery call out to you. If that's not interesting, like that sounds really cool. Mayor Paleeto I hope I'm saying these right. And the new remaining residents yearn for a savior, somebody to breathe life not only into the old farmlands, but into the town itself, to hopefully restore it to its former glory. As your newly acquired farm finds stable footing and Paleeto Town stumbles upon a new life, you'll have the chance to offer permanent residence to an abundance of unique characters who will seek a fresh start for themselves. So some mechanics we've kind of heard in games we love. You know, things that come to mind is Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, even stuff like Story of Seasons, or the one everyone always played that I never got to play, that like, I forgot what it's called, like Stardew Valley and stuff. I can't even remember what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about. Lots of things that we've seen and loved from other games, but we're going to get some new twists on it. While not tending to the fields, taking care of animals, or moving in new residence, there is a massive open world to traverse and explore, secrets to uncover, and mysteries to solve in the gods' fabled soil frontier. So let's check out how farming works, because this actually, when I was reading through it, it's kind of different, but in a way I'm really excited to see how it works, like through gameplay and how it feels to play this way. So it says, naturally, you can expect a game like this to have an engaging, mildly complex, fun, rewarding, and ever-changing farming system. So we saw some of that in the trailer. So let's go ahead and jump into these newer features. So conditions is kind of how you grow your crops, which is really cool. So this means that I skipped a line. Crops aren't season dependent, they're condition dependent. So this means that although any crop can technically be planted at any time of the year, each crop type requires bare minimum and or maximum set of conditions in order to survive. Too much moisture and a gramato. I love that they're not like normal names. It's like different names for, you know, that's probably a tomato. It's really cool. A gramato will rot, not enough sunlight per day, and a rucumba won't grow to full size. Too cold a temperature, and a nanea, like a banana, nanea will never ripen, and so on. Along with requiring specific conditions to survive, each crop has a range of conditions that, if met, will cause the plant to thrive. So I thought that was really cool. There's more, but I thought that was a really cool take than just going and like, I need a sprinkler, I need to water it. It's really cool, and I love when developers take like things like that we love inside of games that we're used to, but then kind of changing it and taking it to a different place is always really cool to see. So I'm really excited to see how this like plays out and how you get to experience it, because it's always different reading it than actually experiencing it when you play. But it sounds really great, and I'm really interested to see it. So it says, along with requiring specific conditions to survive, each crop has a range of conditions that, if met, will cause the plant to thrive. Thriving plants will always produce higher quality crops, leading to increased profits or even an inheritance of quality in the resulting crafted food or items. That's pretty cool. You're gonna get some purple stars. In Stardew Valley, it's purple stars, but whatever the highest condition is, you'll be able to get those, which is really cool. Different than just getting a certain fertilizer. You really have to tend to your crops and pay attention to get these conditions. Conditions are typically weather related. You'll need to repair the old radio to receive a basic forecast, but buying a TV and placing it somewhere in your home might yield a more accurate forecast via weather updates on Channel 3. So that sounds interesting. There's also an area of effect, or an AoE. So it says some crops and plants have an area effect or AoE buff or nerf that affects other plants and crops around them. So I'm pretty sure, oh actually let me just keep reading. But when I was reading it, it's kind of like these plants can affect each other if they're beside each other, considering their conditions. So if certain crops are within range of each other, they can give each other effects or even change properties. That sounds pretty cool. For example, full-grown fidger next to a gramato has a chance to give the harvested gramato a spicy attribute. So that's kind of cool. You not only do you have conditions to make these plants grow in a different way or thrive in a different way, they can affect each other in a way that they can, like, you can make a tomato spicy, and that's how you make it spicy. And then in turn, when you're making recipes, that would most likely change your recipe. So that's really cool. I'm assuming that, but it sounds like that's how it's gonna work. So that's one thing that was really cool, in the way of, it's not your typical watering, and you obviously have to do watering like we can see here, but there's conditions that have to be met for each of these plants, which is really cool. And that means it's not season dependent, right? So you could probably have these things all year round, as long as you're keeping them within their conditions, which is actually a really cool, like, twist on, you know, what we know from farming games, and what we're used to. Next, it says produce tags. Each individual crop you grow and harvest will be unique. This information is conveyed through produce tags. Upon being ready to harvest, Perique, a legendary farmer whose joints unfortunately restrict him from working too hard, will proudly grade your crops in the early morning, attaching tags in the process. The type of information displayed on a tag can vary per crop, as some are crop specific. Every tag will display weight and color, two of the basic measurements of produce affected by weather conditions and soil moisture. If a crop takes on a special attribute, as mentioned in the AoE, so like getting a spicy tomato as an example, as a spicy gramato, that will also be shown on the tag. So I guess it's a way for you to see how your crops are changing and how they're doing in the conditions that you have set for them. There are a variety of attributes that can appear on any harvested crop. It will pay for you to learn them over time. Information found on crop tags will directly affect the sale price of that produce item. Furthermore, a crop tag can introduce entirely new properties when a crop is used in applications like crafting, cooking, and even potion brewing. Ooh, we got a lot of different things we can do in this game. The grading of a crop is no ordinary task, and only Perique can help you. You're lucky you grew tired of retirement. We are lucky to have Perique. We're lucky. But yeah, that sounds really cool. Like, I'm really, really interested to see how this mechanic works in taking care of your crops and having them graded, and like how that's gonna work. It sounds so interesting and unique and cool, and that's why I want to check out this this game. And I'm really happy the dev reached out, because I might not have seen it. Like, I may not have seen it if they hadn't, and this is really cool. So this is definitely going on my watch list. It also says down here that there are some more magical items that can aid plants in surviving unsurvivable conditions if used at the correct time, which is pretty cool. So it says specific situations could even promote the development of the sentience within your crops, and who knows what might happen if you manage to please the great harvest god Fogan. It also says fertilizers, pesticides, trimming, climbing plant structures, hiring helping hands, worker animals, and much more. The farming system in the God's Fabled Soil Frontier is rich and diverse. You'll be surprised how deep it does go, and you'll never be left bored with the same repetitive tasks, as every growable crop is different, which I think is good, because sometimes, even in Stardew Valley, it gets a little repetitive to be watering your task, picking everything up, putting it down. Sometimes there's a lot of joy in doing repetitive tasks. It's not that those are bad in any way, but it's really interesting that this game is trying to, or that the dev is trying to make sure the game doesn't have that feeling of, I'm repetitively doing the same thing, it's going to be different every time. So if that's something that you're interested in checking out, or like you find doing those menial tasks not as exciting at a certain point in the game, especially when you get farther in the game, sometimes you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's really cool that this is a part of the game. So yeah, let's talk about the animals, because the animals are sometimes the best, cutest part. So let's check out these animals. Pets and livestock. Crops aren't the only thing that need some daily, tender, loving care on your farm. An array of species are available as livestock to adopt, breed, raise, and get items from. And the animals are just so cute. I mean, look at this. You can pet the animals, clean them off. They look adorable. Each farm animal, not unlike each crop, has a set of conditions. So these conditions are themed throughout the whole game, mechanics and how it works. So it's not just for your crops, it's also like this for your animals. So you'll need to make sure your chikus are in their coop at nighttime, and the kumus are always fed to ensure the continuous production of milk. Keeping a supply of calf roots for your hoggles will increase their happiness, in turn delivering you more items snorted up from the dirt they so eagerly sniff. So that's cute. Depending on their happiness and how you keep the conditions of their living, I'm assuming their living environment, decides how much produce you would get for them, or even how happy they are and how much they want to be there, which is a really, really cool, like, again, take on the farming sim. Agnes is your go-to pal to source new livestock from. Without her, you'd be limited to the tame, able critters of the wilderness and adoptable pets. Should you decide to build an animal shelter somewhere in Paleeto town, the animal shelter will play host to the more adorable pets of the game. Treat them well, and each might unlock their unique ability to its full potential. They have unique abilities. Look at this. This little chickie is so cute. Okay, and now some people's favorite, my favorite sometimes, character customization. So this game, it says it allows you to express yourself through the customization of your character however you see fit, and I think you're not even restricted to swatches. I think you actually get, like, I think it's sliders, possibly, to control how colors look. We're gonna get there, but it says there's an enormous variety of clothing options that are randomly colored, patterned, and rotated in and out of stock in NPC stores that are available, assuming you can afford it after profiting from your farming exploits, of course. So it gives little examples here of some characters that are possible with the game. Every possible skin tone, eye color, and hair color is achievable through fine-tuning hue, lightness, and saturation values, meaning you are not stuck with a few preset options and can model your character after yourself. That's really cool. It could be yourself, it could be, whatever you want to be. It's really, really cool that you're given that much control over the hues, lightness, and saturation values, because sometimes with, like, presets, it's really, really locked. Like, I'm always getting upset because they're locked so much. So that's really cool that you're able to do that. It also says regardless of gender, you won't be locked out of clothing options, which is also cool because we want to have all the options we can have. The clothing system is designed in such a way that all t-shirts, pairs of pants, shirts or skirts, dresses, gloves, sneakers, boots, hats, backpacks, and much more can be worn by any player type and any NPC in the game. So that's really cool. Tons of customization options. I was going to say optimization options. That makes no sense. Customization options. And it says this part was really cool. I like this because we have all looked at an NPC and been like, I want that piece of their outfit. You can do that. It says each time a new NPC is added to the game, their complete outfit is broken up and exposed to the player clothing system. If there is a character who is wearing something you like, you will be able to find the same piece in store sooner or later. There have been so many times that I have wanted a piece of clothing that an NPC has, and I'm like, man, those pants, that shirt, that hoodie, those leggings, like, I want it and I can't get it. I really like this. So if you have someone come into your town and you're like, where'd you get your hoodie, girl? You can just, like, get it. You know what I mean? You can get the clothes as well. So I think that's really, really cool. Again, new takes, new things that I haven't seen before in a game like this, especially not together. This game's really cool. Crafting and processing. One does not simply develop a farming game without expanding upon the additional uses of harvested crops, gathering materials, and other produce. Butters, cheeses, jams, wines, entree, dishes, and even potions are on the menu as you put to use your spoils. Crafting's only purpose isn't limited to increasing the sale price. The vast majority of items, craft items included, will have their use outside of capitalism. So that's kind of cool. You can actually use these items as well instead of just, I've made them to sell them. They'll have uses to you. It says non-edibles will be craftable as well. It also says non-edibles will be able to be crafted as well, which makes sense. It says here, you might be curious, what does the Gods of Fabled Soil Frontier crafting system look like? And it says you can't smelt ore into an ingot with your bare hands. Various crafting and processing stations will be available to the player, but throughout the open world, both throughout the open world and through purchasing from certain vendors to be placed freely anywhere you'd like. So that's kind of cool. You can, like, you're not kind of restrained to like having stuff on your property. You can kind of have it throughout this open world that you're supposed to be able to explore, because it's not just a farming sim. It's got a bunch of other things in this game as well. Like I'm sure there's NPC relationships, there's a whole world to explore, mysteries to uncover aside from your farming and things like that. So it sounds really, really cool. It's a very, very cool concept. It also says here, rebuild Paleeto town. So, you know, you also have the aspect of going to rebuild this town. The decrepit farm you begin your life on isn't the only scar of these lands. As the old days grew older, fewer and fewer people will call this place home. Signing a watertight legal agreement, you've agreed in return for the deed to the old farmland to invest your heart and soul into rebuilding Paleeto town. So as time has slipped away, so has the structural integrity of the forsaken support beams. Collecting raw building materials might be a good place to start. Refine those logs into beams and planks, forge the crude iron into nails and brackets, and retile those roofs in a variety of building mini games for when days on the farm are slow. So you actually can do these mini games to like actually physically build things. I'm really interested to see how that works as well. Like every single facet to this game, when it's broken down, I'm just like, give me more. I want to know more, because it's so interesting. So friends. A train rolls into the station, a vessel at the dock, a lonely traveler found on the not-so-beaten path. No matter where they're from, where they come from, or where you find them, these individuals seem to have all heard whispers and rumors of this renewing land. So it sounds like you can actually, because this is an open world game, you can actually run into people like on paths, and you run into them and then possibly have them come back to your town, which is kind of cool. That's what it sounds like to me. As the appointed Acquisitor of Population, one of the many odd titles bestowed upon you by Mayor Paleeto, you've been entrusted with the vital responsibility of finding these longing for belonging souls to inhabit the freshly renovated and or newly built houses and stores of Paleeto Town to further solidify its footing. So that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool indeed. I think this is concept art. I don't know if this is for a character or is it for a foe. I think it's for like friends. This is pretty cool. It says a jolly man of Hokulu species native to the great Narashi forest. I don't know if this is a secret. I don't know what but this is cool. I was like, what is this? I think it has to do with friends because it's in this section, but that's really cool. So there's some concept art. So we are getting close to the end. Lots of cool things. Foes is another thing that will be in the game. Friendly, fun, and fancy characters are nothing to shake a stick at, but there are some individuals imitating beings and unflavorful creatures who ignite both fear and danger. It's kind of interesting. With the toggle able option of combat, so I think that gives you the ability to toggle that option on and off, which is really cool. A lot of people think combat is 100% necessary for games, and I don't think it is. I think you can turn it off if you want, it's an amazing option. That is not an option in a lot of games. Some games like Paleeto are trying, I say Paleeto, but I think it's actually pronounced Paleeto. We'll look into that game in a different video, but that game is not going to have any like PvP, even though it's a online game. And some people are like, oh, you can't have games like that, but I think we can. I think you can think outside the box and not just default to now we have combat. So I think it's really cool that it says it's toggle able, which is really cool. So with the toggle able option of combat, Coach Flecker can guide you in the ways of fist, blunt, and blade to defend against these foes, or too much his dismay plunder the depths they reside within. Okay, next is exploration. I think this actually might be our last. Yeah, I think this is our last thing before we go to reward tiers, which I'm gonna let you guys go and check out. We're gonna go through a few of them, but not all of them. Just to kind of give you guys an idea of what you can get for different prices that you can pay. So it says for exploration, this is a new place you call home, sits on the edge of a land known as Deleku, and it's vast. So it's this huge place you're supposed to be able to run around. As you can see, like I don't know if you can run into these mountains, but if you can, that gives me big like open world like vibes where you can just see where you want to go and run to it. So it says, from the highest mountain peaks down to the darkest dungeon floors, the jelly bat glow caves to the great Nourish forest, getting lost is trivial as you'll find your way to somewhere. So you'll always be running to something, you'll always find something, which is really cool. That's a big important part of creating open world games. It's cool that this is open world. You can see some more of the world and running around through different weather, as we can see down here. So it says, with the area of the old farmlands and Paleeto town combined, that accounts for only a few % of the total playable game. So the farmlands and the town are just a little area compared to how far you're supposed to be able to go. So in other words, it's huge, which is really, really crazy considering this is a single dev. I believe there's a developer and a composer, but that's crazy. Like the amount of coding, building, like it's 3D, so like designing all of that is and building it is just insane. But what good is a massive open world fantasy farming game if there's nothing to do in the wild? Well, lucky for you, there's plenty. Are you guys excited? I'm excited. I've been excited. I'm getting more excited. You'll spend your time filling out the many-page compendium documenting the undiscovered materials, ores, animals, enemies, fossils, and much more found in these lands. There's different weather types that you get to go through, which is really cool. Playing with combat toggled on. Oh yeah, so it is toggled. Never mind, I retract what I said. It does mean it can be toggled on. Playing with combat toggled on might be preferable as you clear enemy camps and dungeons while plundering for the most useful and valuable loot. Have you considered locating and setting free the hundreds of imprisoned Pentari spirits scattered throughout the world? There's the option of riding around on a tamed Pongon bird, or shooting those pesky Uchkins away as they steal electricity from the power lines. So it sounds like this whole, because this is also a fantasy world, lots of fantasy elements in here, which is really cool. It seems like this game seems so ambitious for one person. I'm like so excited. I'm so excited because, this looks really cool. You might even prefer collecting one of every substance in the game to stock the museum you refurbished back in Paleeto Town. Hardly scratching the surface of things to do and places to explore, it's unlikely you'll ever have a clear in-game schedule. So it seems like this game's designed to get you, oh, I'm gonna go do this, and then on your way to do that, you're gonna see something or find something or meet someone, and you're gonna be distracted and not do the thing you plan to do, which is, I like playing games like that where I get so invested and involved. I'm doing all kinds of things. So this game looks really cool. It was a lot to unpack. I'm probably gonna timestamp all the things so you can look at specifically what you're interested in, but this looks really cool. So the early reward tiers, there's a whole bunch here, as you can see. The first one is limited to 500 spots, but I think there is still room. Yeah, there's so here on the side it shows you. So there's about 291 spots left as of right now for this specific one. So early bird, it's $15 US, $22. I believe this is Australian. Get access to the complete game for a couple of months before it's released, expected early 22. This is not alpha access. You can also just get the game, so when it's completed you can get it, and that's not alpha. Alpha access starts at $31 US, and then you can expect it. It says you can get, sorry, let me read it. You get access to the alpha version of the game. You get to play it early, provide feedback, share your thoughts and ideas, and help guide the direction of the God's Fabled Soil Frontier. So that is pretty cool. It said expected March 2023. So that's pretty neat. And then there's a whole bunch more. So if we go down here, there's a really cute little letter. I want you to go over to the site, read it yourself. From Zoiji, they have, I hope I've pronounced that correctly. I apologize if I pronounced anything incorrectly, because I probably did. I am so sorry. But you can feel free to go and check this out. Make sure you read through it. There's more things down here, development timeline, if you want more in-depth notes, things like that. Be sure to go ahead and check all that out on the Kickstarter. But we were just going to go over kind of what's available. What is this game about? There is so much. This is such an ambitious project, and like, I am really excited to see how it turns out. It's got 18,000, it's showing me in Canadian dollars, so it says 18,887 dollars have been put up to back it, and I think they wanted to get to 50,000, I think that's Australian dollars, AUD. I think that's what that currency is. Let me know if it's not, but I think actually, yeah, I think it says they're in Australia as well. So I think that's what it is. So definitely check it out. You know, a lot of people have been backing it. There's 19 days to go as of you seeing this, me recording it. It's 21. But be sure, or actually, it might be 20 days by the time you see this. It will be 20 days by the time you see this. But yeah, definitely check it out. Check it out. I think it sounds amazing. It is super, super ambitious. Like, it is really, really cool how much is going to go in. The open world aspect is awesome. And I'm really excited to see it. So much customizability, building, there's so much we just went over. I know if your brain is like, you're like, what? Like, just go over there and read it for yourself. I'll leave the link to the Kickstarter down below. It is an affiliate link. I do get a percentage. I always want to be upfront about that with you guys. They did sponsor the video today. So if you click on the link down below, if you back it, you will not only be supporting this amazing game and project, you will also be able to support the channel as I get a percentage from what you spend on the game, on the tiers. But it's really cool. You can go as low as $10. You can go as low as $10, or about $9 Canadian for me. I think it tells you what your currency is in Kickstarter, but you can go as low as that, and then you could do even $1 if you wanted, and then go all the way up into the different tiers. So just supporting this game, whatever you can. If you would like to, definitely check it out. Let me know down below what you think of this game. It is very unique in what it's offering for this genre. The fact you can turn combat off is really, like, that is not something that's done a lot as of right now. The conditions on both animals and crops, NPCs, like, you can wear what you see an NPC wearing. They can come and join your town. You can meet them just walking around. Really, really cool. Really excited to check out this game. Let me know what you think down below. Thank you again to the developer for reaching out. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for allowing me to make a video on this. Lots of really cool games on Kickstarter. Be sure to check them out for, like, a bunch of cool games to back. I'm probably gonna talk more about games on Kickstarter because I've been finding a lot. And like this one, for example, they're so unique and interesting, and supporting indie devs is always really important and exciting. So let me know down below what you thought of this game. And as always, I hope that you have sweet, sweet dreams of gaming.